The Pokeathlon Dome was an awesome addition to Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It acted similar to contests in the fact that you could enter your Pokemon into various events and have them receive medals for attaining the highest scores. But what if we were to flip the script and try to achieve the lowest point total possible? I mean, it can't be that hard to do, right? Just have your Pokemon sit there and do nothing the whole time. Yeah, well, I wish it was that simple, as it turns out that getting a score of 0 is basically impossible. So that begs the question, what is the lowest score you can end up with? Well, sit back, hit that sub button as it really does help out the channel, and let's do our best to perform as bad as we physically can in the Pokeathlon Dome. So for those unfamiliar with this location, here's a quick rundown. It opens up once you defeat Whitney, and Magnus, who's kind of the head of this spot, will be by the entrance to greet you along with his Poliwrath. There's a cool track off to the left where you can find some NPCs training their team members. Yeah, it doesn't look like much to me. You can also grab the Apper Blender from this NPC, which I'll discuss a little later on. As for the inside, there's a vending machine, the athlete shop on the east side where you can use the points you earn from each Pokeathlon, and a basement which plays home to 4 different rooms. The only one you can access right now is the Solidarity Room, where you can view your records in each event, while the other 3 areas can all be unlocked by collecting trophies and breaking records. Nonetheless, let's grab our jersey from Whitney and get things rolling. Now there's 5 different Pokeathlon categories: speed, power, skill, stamina, and jump. Each of them contain their own mix of events, and believe it or not, we've got a problem right off the bat. You see, the speed course begins with Hurdle Dash, which involves your team of 3 racing towards the finish line while they hop over hurdles. The issue is, though, the game automatically moves your Pokemon, meaning even if you refuse to tap the screen to jump over a hurdle, your Mons will eventually reach the finish line and receive a time. And since each team's points from this section are calculated by dividing 11,500 by the total time, you're guaranteed to receive at least some amount of points, such as 68 like I did. So although you can avoid grabbing pennants in Pennant Capture and Sit Still and Relay Run, you'll still end up with a score far from 0. As you can see here, I almost managed to reach triple digits. Even more unfortunate, the jump course also includes Hurdle Dash, so let's take a crack at one of the other 3 courses. The power course gets off to a nice start, as you can just let your Pokemon sit back and watch the others during Block Smash. The second event, Circle Push, is a little tricky, as sometimes the circles will spawn right where you're standing, so you gotta quickly move out of the way in order to avoid receiving points. However, you can't purposely fall off the platform either, as there's a point bonus at the end of each Pokeathlon for the most fails. Despite that, my team sat at a perfect 0 going into the third event, Goal Roll. But it proposes another complication. No matter if you stand still the entire time and let the opponent score on your goal, every player automatically receives at least 60 points. On top of that, my Apom somehow got the no-miss bonus at the end, which only added 10 more points to my total. As a result, I ended up with more points than I got in the speed course, all thanks to Goal Roll. And because the skill course also implements that event, let's see if we have any better success with the final course, Stamina. The first event in this one is Ring Drop, where you can just let the other Pokemon continuously push you off. After that is Relay Run and Block Smash, which we already know you can get by without gaining a single point. So that's it, right? We should have a score of 0. Well, come to find out, my Apom got a bonus for having the most fails, I guess because it got pushed off the most in Ring Drop, so a few tries later I avoided receiving that bonus, even though I still got knocked off the platform a bunch, but maybe someone else somehow fell more? However, you can see that despite keeping our scoreboard clean through all 3 events, we still ended up with 31 points. And that would be all thanks to the challenge bonus. This is a bonus that is completely unavoidable, as every team receives it at the conclusion of each Pokeathlon. The size of the bonus is dependent on your team's Pokeathlon stats, which I have yet to touch on. Every Pokemon in Heart Gold and Soul Silver possesses 5 different Pokeathlon stats that line up with each course in the Pokeathlon. Some Mons will of course be better than others in certain categories, like for instance, a Mareep will always only have a potential of 3 stars in the power category, while something like a Machamp will always have a 5-star potential. potential. Furthermore, depending on a Pokemon's nature, they can have big orange stars, showing that that stat is above average, regular yellow stars showing that they're right on par, and small gray stars, meaning that stat is below average. Anyways, the lower your stats, the more points you'll receive from the challenge bonus. For example, my team of Apom, Flaffy, and Bayleaf resulted in 31 points every single time since they possess some decent stats. So let's go slightly further with this challenge and find out which combination of team members will yield the lowest challenge bonus. Now, that's very easy to do considering Bulbapedia has the answer. 3 Arceus all holding Draco plates. This is because the average Arceus has some of the best Pokeathlon stats, with all of its categories being 4 or 5 stars. It's also worth mentioning that the challenge bonus factors in your stats before giving your Pokemon any sort of Apper Juice, so using the Apper Blender to raise your stats even more is basically pointless. Anyways, with my towering team of 3 Arceus, I gave the Stamina course one last shot and finished with a grand total of 9 points. Now I know Bulbapedia claims that this lineup would give you 6 points, which it probably does. I'm just gonna assume that the 3-point difference comes down to natures or something like that. Nonetheless, although Team Mondu can celebrate their victory, we know that we're the real champions by finally achieving the lowest possible score in the Pokeathlon. Well, that was a pretty fun concept to explore, and it really shows how deep the Pokeathlon goes in the Gen 2 remakes. We've came to the conclusion that 6 points is the lowest you can earn in one Pokeathlon, but maybe there's something I'm still missing, so definitely let me know in the comments if there is. For now though, I hope y'all enjoyed this video just as much as I did making it. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, deuces.